everyone, welcome to this video. Today I'm going to give you a tour of my new Google Sheets monthly, weekly, and daily planner. This new layout is inspired by the first version I created about 3 years ago. It's been a while, so I figured it was time that I came up with something new. So in this video, I'm going to give you a tour of this new layout. I'm going to show you how it works and all the features that are included. So I hope you like it. I hope you find it useful, and let's get into it. This is a monthly file, and the very first thing you have to do is you have to set the month and the year that you're going to be working with. So you're going to do that in the initial setup tab. You're going to select the month, and then you're going to set the year. So this is going to work any month, any year. And then you can decide if you want your weeks to start on Sunday or Monday. And you can set the time at which you want your daily schedules to begin. So the template is initially undated. And once you fill this out, you're going to notice that dates throughout the template get filled out automatically on every single tab. And you will notice that your daily schedules are also starting at the time that you selected. So the template includes 8 main tabs. You have your monthly overview, your dynamic calendar, and then 6 weekly tabs that all look and work exactly the same way. So each tab has 7 days, and then if you scroll to the very end of the tab, you're gonna find a weekly habit tracker and a numeric tracker. So I'm gonna walk you through each tab, and I'm gonna talk about the purpose of each section. So you're gonna start each month by mapping out a general overview of what your month is going to look like, and you're gonna do that with the help of the monthly overview tab and the dynamic calendar tab. As you can see, both of these are calendars, but they are different layouts and they work in different ways. So I'm going to show you a version that's already filled out. So you're going to start each month by adding your top 5 goals for the month. You don't have to use them all, but there's room for 5. And then this calendar over here is a free space for you to brainstorm. You can use it however you prefer. I added some examples, but what I like to do here is take a look at my goals and then map out what it is that I'm going to be focusing on each week to make sure that this gets done. And in this calendar, you type your information directly into these white cells, and you can keep it simple, black and white, but if you're more visual, you can play around merging cells and changing background colors to make it as pretty as you like. And super important, whatever you add in this calendar will only exist here. It's not connected to any other part of the template, so you can think of it sort of like a whiteboard that's there for you to brainstorm. And then in this version, I also included a dynamic calendar, and the way this one works is instead of adding your tasks and events directly into the calendar, you're gonna add them in this table right here, and whatever you add here is going to be automatically displayed in this calendar view. And the coolest part about the dynamic calendar is that it's also connected to your weekly planner tabs. So whatever you add in here will also be displayed automatically in its corresponding day on each of your weekly tabs. So let me show you an example. Let's say that I want to add a task on April 21st. I'm gonna jump into the table, I'm gonna type in 21, and then I'm going to add my task. And as soon as I do that, it will automatically appear in the calendar. And then if I jump into the corresponding weekly tab, so I'm going to use this link over here to jump into week 4. And I find April 21st, and I scroll down to this planned items section, I'm going to see my new task over here. So anything that you add in the dynamic calendar will also be automatically displayed on its corresponding day in this planned items section. And this counter over here tells you the number of items that are open. So anything that hasn't been marked as done will be considered open. So if you wanted to mark this as done, you can click on the task, and then you can click on the blue link, and you're going to jump back into the dynamic calendar into this specific row, so you can easily locate that task and mark it as done. So at the beginning of each month, you can jump into this table and add anything that you want to plan beforehand and that you want to be reminded of on your weekly tabs. And then there's a couple other cool features that I added into the dynamic calendar. As you can see, you can assign a category to each task. These are drop downs, and the elements that you're going to find in here are fully customizable. You can change them from the initial setup tab. I added some examples, but you can just select them, delete them, and replace them with your own categories. And adding a category is optional, but it's useful if you want to highlight tasks in the calendar that have a specific category assigned. And you can do do that using this highlight drop down up here. So if I select finances, for example, and I take a look at the calendar, any task that has the category finances assigned will be highlighted. So this drop down up here allows you to highlight one category at a time. And each of these tasks is also a link. So if you want to quickly jump into the task, you can click on it, click on this blue link, and that's going to bring you back into this table. And again, you can go ahead and check this box to mark it as done. So I'm going to check a couple more boxes, and you can choose to either keep the tasks that are done in the calendar, or you can uncheck this box so that anything that's done will no longer be displayed. And then if you scroll to the end of this tab, you're going to find a couple more sections. So first you have the specific day view, and all you're going to do here is pick a date from this drop down, and any task that's assigned to that date will be displayed in this table. So you can use this to sort of zoom into a specific day. And then this table over here is going to display every single one of the tasks and events that you added in here, but this table is dynamic and it's sortable. So you can sort it by date, by category, by event, or task name. And then if you keep this box checked, every single task that is done is going to be sent to the bottom. So you can add tasks and events in any order that you want in this table, and then you can view them sorted over here. So I added lots of features into the dynamic calendar, but really all you have to do is add your tasks or events into this section right here, and then everything else is optional. So once you're done mapping out a general overview of what your month is going to look like, you can jump into your weekly tabs and start planning each week and each day in more detail. So you're going to start each week by setting an intention for the week. And then down here, this section is automated, and it's always going to be displaying the goals that you added in your monthly overview tab. So anything that you add in here will always be displayed automatically on each of your weekly tabs. And I did this so you could see your goals every day and make sure that everything that you're adding in your weekly tabs is always aligned with those goals. And then down here, there's room for you to add your top 5 priorities for the week, and then there's room for any additional tasks below. And then every single day looks and works exactly the same way. You can start each day by setting your top priority for the day up here. So this can be your most important task. Once it's done, you can check the box. And then below, you're going to find a daily schedule that's going to start at the time that you selected during the initial setup. So you can build your schedules by selecting a category from the dropdown and then adding your events over here. And again, you can keep it simple, black and white, or you can play around with it and merge cells and change background colors to make it as pretty as you like. You can also choose to create big blocks of time instead of adding individual events. So entirely up to you. It's a free space. And these categories are the same ones that we used in the dynamic calendar, which are fully customizable. And then down below, you're going to find your daily to-do list. So you can assign a priority to each task. These are also customizable. You can select a category. You can add your task over here. And then as you're checking boxes, you're going to see that your progress bar updates automatically. Then if you scroll down, you're going to find the planned items section. And this section is automated. You should never edit it directly. What's going to happen here is that any task or event that you add into the dynamic calendar will be automatically displayed in its corresponding day in this planned items section. And as you can see right next to the date, you're always going to be seeing this exact same label so that if anything's open, it serves as a reminder that you need to scroll down into this section and see if there's anything that you need to do about these tasks. And finally, you have 4 additional sections below. They're a free space and you can use them however you prefer. I use mine to plan my meals, plan my workouts, and then I take a moment each morning to fill out this gratitude section, and there's also some room for notes. So these 4 sections, you can use them however you prefer, and as I mentioned, every single day looks and works exactly the same way. So there's 7 days included on each weekly tab, and if you scroll to the very end of the tab, you're going to find your habit tracker and your numeric tracker. So the way the habit tracker works is you're going to add your habit, and then you're going to set the number of times that you want to complete this habit this week. And the way this works is you're going to reach 100% as soon as you check the same number of boxes that you set as your goal. So in this section, all you're going to do is add your habits and your goal for each one over here. And then as the week goes by, you're going to check your boxes and you're going to be seeing your progress update automatically over here. And then these tables down below are also going to be updating automatically as you're checking boxes. So whenever a habit goes over 50%, it's going to go into this top habits section. And then over here, you're going to see the habits that could use a bit more love and attention. So these are just there in case you find them useful, and they're just suggestions. And then finally, you have your numeric trackers. So I'm going to show you how they look like blank. So you can use this section for anything that can be tracked with numbers. There's room for 5, and I added some suggestions, but you can just select them and delete them and replace them with your own. So you're going to add your habit, and then you're going to set a target for each one. So let's do 8 hours, for example. And then every day, you're going to use these cells over here to track what actually happened. And you're going to see the bars and the average updating automatically. So that's everything that's included in the weekly tabs. And then if you don't like pink, you can easily change the theme color by clicking on Format, Theme, and then Customize, and you can change the colors over here to something that fits your style. And as I mentioned, this is a monthly file, so when the month is over, you need to start fresh by creating a new blank copy of the template. And you're gonna do that by jumping into the main menu tab and clicking on this link over here. And this is going to help you create a blank copy from the original template so that you can start fresh for a new month. So by the end of the year, you're going to end up with 12 separate monthly files. So that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it useful. I'm going to leave the link to purchase the template in the description, and I'm also going to leave my email in case you have any questions and would like to reach out. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.